Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Shou Talks. And today I am with the amazing, actually, I've known Remi for decades, decades
Mm,
at this point. And the other day, well, probably a couple weeks ago, I was on my Peloton doing a workout, sweating it up, and they were playing Beyonce's Freedom. And there's a particular line in the song that she says that resonated with me, which is why I wanted to have this episode and talk to somebody who has been through something. And the line is pretty much, I'm gonna keep running because a winner don't quit on themselves. And immediately, well, not even immediately, I want to say, and Remi, you invited Renard and I to your service one Sunday, and that was the first time we actually heard your story, and what happened, and pretty much your journey back to.
mm,
I'm gonna put quotations normalism, because
mhm.
I hate using that word, and I don't think that anything or anyone really is normal. It's up to your discretion. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you to kind of tell your story, and um I'll drop with questions afterwards. So you're gonna
Oh,
introduce yourself and hop into your story.
okay. I'm Remy. I don't know.
That's fine, just
I've known Rachel for, let me see,
years.
like she said, decades. It's
Yeah,
since high school. So
yeah.
since she was in high school, I wasn't in high school anymore. So
You don't gotta give your age, Remy. You don't gotta give your
I'm not.
age.
I'm not gonna. I just had a birthday. I'm not gonna give my age,
No, you're not.
but yeah, and I invited her and her husband Renard to the service, my service, and we had a good time,
We
awesome
did.
time. And she she knew I had a stroke, but it was more, you know, it wasn't. She didn't know the story, and
Not at all.
I told my story, and well, this is what happened. I'm a T-bus driver. For those who don't know, I was going to work every day. I was also trying to close on the house. Things were hectic and crazy and at the time, and to me, for me, I was on my health kick. I was not eating sugar really. I was I had lost like 60 pounds. My boys at the T, they were like, man, what are you doing? Because one of my boys had the gastric surgery and I
Hmm.
was just losing weight quicker than him. And he was like, yo,
Because you
I'm
was doing
I'm
it
I
naturally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think I need to try what you're doing because I mean, even though I got the gastric, I mean, he's now major skinny. So,
Right.
but at the time, Rachel, he was they we were competing. I was like, I gotta try to compete with the gastric. so so I was working and doing doing all these things.
Mhm,
And one day it started on a Sunday
mhm.
and I was driving the bus at night. I worked at night and I was driving the bus and I noticed me braking heavy. Like I would stop the bus, but it would be like a drink. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's wrong? I like that's not me, but I didn't pay it any attention because nothing was wrong with me. But
Mhm,
I was braking heavy and you know, um the next day was Monday
mhm.
and I felt I felt I don't know if I felt myself, but I felt, a little tired, but I was just like, this is the the breaks of working at night. You're gonna be a little tired. So I just counted it as that. I was getting ready, and I started laughing at myself because I was telling my wife, you know, look, I can't put on my pants. Like I'm tripping over my feet. And I was like, and I was laughing because I was like, what? So I got my jeans on. Um, Time out. Going back to Sunday, sorry, y'all, but going back
Mhm.
to Sunday, I drove home and I was still breaking heavy. And it's really by the mercies of God that I got home
Yeah. Yeah.
because safely. I just thought I was tired. Fast forward back to Monday. um, we I put on my pants, but we were going to see a house, and she was like, "You're driving crazy. You want me to drive?" I was like, "Yeah, drive," because I was feeling kind of tired. I was like, "Drive." I went in. We met the realtor. He's a friend of ours, Jason, and he was like, "Hey, this is the house that you're gonna purchase," and I was like, "Yeah." And I looked around and I just sat on the couch of theirs, and I was like sleeping because I was feeling awfully tired.
Yeah.
So, I went to work. My wife told me, if you don't feel good, tell them at work and don't drive. But, I was like, once I get to work, I'm gonna get the energy I need and that'll be that.
That's
So
the
I
West
went,
Indian in you. That is the
yeah,
West
yeah,
Indian.
yeah. And I seen two supervisors, two inspectors, and I seen a driver, and she was like, and the first person I seen the driver, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." Why you say that? And she was like, "No, no, no reason." I went to the other to where we reported, and then I seen the inspector, and it was like she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Then I took a bus, went to Dudley, where I was supposed to be at,
Mhm.
and seen Miss Daphne and was like, "I'm ready. What bus I got?" And then she told me, and she was like, "Are you all right, Adams?" She was like, "Remi, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She was like, "Okay." And then I got on the bus. This is where, I didn't realize, but I should have.
Mhm.
I directly got out. I was doing the number one. So I got out of Dudley Station. I tried to make a turn and I could not I did not make the turn right. And I
Yeah.
didn't clear a sign
Mhm.
that they had in Dudley. And I was like, and I backed up. And you're not supposed to back up a bus, but I backed up real quick, made the turn, went on my way, got onto Mass Ave,
Mhm.
and I should have known something was wrong when I hit a curb.
Yeah.
When I hit a curb going into a stop, but I was, not realizing, I mean, bus drivers, we always hit curbs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty long vehicle, so
so, so I'm like, that's nothing. I just got to be better.
yeah.
So, I went up Mass Ave all the way. I started concentrating because I was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to hit nothing.
Yeah.
Concentrating, and I got past MIT, and I'm like, oh, they right past MIT, did the railroad crossing, and past if you're familiar with um, Cambridge and Mass Ave, there's a Sunoco gas station on your left, and I passed that, and as soon as I passed that, I heard bang. So I'm like, oh shoot, did I hit something? I'm like, I'm not. I I didn't realize I was close to a car, but I'm like, I didn't hit nothing. So these guys were on the bus. And it was like, they threw a brick at you. I'm like, oh, snap. I opened the door because I was about to stop the bus. He was
Yeah.
like, nah. He was like, nah, get out of here. He
He's
said,
like, don't
go to the
stay, don't
next
stay.
stop.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And I'll call it in when I get, you know.
Yeah. When you get to your stop.
And so I left the and the impact of the hit shattered the right side
Mm,
of the windshield.
mm.
So the whole right side was shattered, and I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
so that should have made me stop regardless. But I'll probably say I was delirious at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I let them off. The Harvard police comes behind me, and I was like, "Oh snap! I must have hit something."
Yeah.
And he was like, you hit something back then." I was like, "Nah, I didn't realize. I thought somebody threw a brick at me." He was like, "Nah, you clipped somebody's windshield." I was like, "Oh, side mirror," and I was like, you know, wow. So I they did all the logistics with me. They called the T police, and the
Hmm.
T inspectors came out because they come out to
There
every
to
accident.
assess. Yeah.
Yeah, they're to assess, and they were asking me questions, and I was just like, yeah, uh, I didn't really know what to say, so I was
Yeah.
like, because I'm like, dang, I don't want to get fired, this, that, that. So I was like, you know,
Once
I told the
again,
crew,
the West Indian you like, oh, my
uh,
health is fine. I'm just my job. Can I have my
yeah,
job?
yeah, and I the real West Indian for
Yeah, I'm
real.
just
And
saying.
I was like, you know, are we done here? Are
Yeah.
we gonna, can I get back to work? And they he was like, nah, yeah, because in the T, when somebody calls on injury,
Hmm.
you know, they they you have to go for a drug test. You have to,
Mm.
you know,
They got to rule it all
and
out.
yep, they got to rule out it
Yeah.
all. And they said I hit several cars.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was like, what? Which, and I'm gonna say because I seen the video, wasn't true. I only
Okay.
hit one car.
Okay.
They said I even T police were like, yeah, you hit several cars back there. And I was like, wow.
In other words, several
So
people were trying to get that MBTA cash back. That's what it
yeah,
was.
yeah, that's what it was.
Mm,
But
mm,
when
mm,
they
mm.
looked at the tape, they only seen the parked car that I hit. So,
Yeah.
you know, and they was like, "How were the guys on?" I was like, There's nothing was wrong with them."
Yeah.
But of course, Mass and Cass, they got people who are, you know, not, you know, they got problems, and you know, praying for them.
Yeah.
But they see, like you said, the T cash, the
Mm-hmm.
T sign,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is like a
That's
target,
that's a lottery
basically.
right there. I know.
Yeah, so they trying to get paid any which way they can. So,
Mm-hmm.
but and I think, you know, I hope I when I get back, or if I get back, even if I don't get back, um I want to see the officer,
Yeah.
the sergeant who I practically think he saved my life, because he was like, "You don't look well." He
Mm.
was like, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "You got sugar?" And I was like, "Yeah, I I did have it, and at the time I did have it. Now, blood work, doctors say I don't have sugar. I'm pre-diabetic. So,
Right.
I'm keeping my sugar down, you know, so I could get off of whatever it is they
Right.
got me on.
You gotta
Right.
love
So
that black people, we don't ever say, "Are you diabetic?" You got the sugars. You got the
yeah,
sugars. It's just like I was just like,
I'm
you,
sweet.
you
I
get,
got
are you
sugar. I'm
diabetic? No,
sweet.
I got the sugars. You got the diabetes. No, it's just, I think it's because it
I
has the
got
word
sugar.
"die" in it. No, you got the sugars. No, you got diabetes.
I
Okay,
got
but
sugar. I got sugar. Yeah, I be saying that too. I'm like, I got sugar.
I got
I'm a
the
little
sugars.
sweet.
Oh my goodness. I was just okay, go ahead. Sorry. I love it. I love it because it's never I'm diabetic because I got the sugars. You got the sugars? I'm like, what? You got candy? What's happening? But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Lord. Yes. So
It's true.
he looked at you and he
So
can tell that you are going
he
through.
was like, you look like my father, because he said his
Mm,
father had it. And he said, you look, he was a white guy too. And he was
mm,
like, you look like somebody who's going into a diabetic coma. And
mm.
I was like, really? I was like, nah, I don't feel that. You know, anything coma. I'm like, I ain't feeling that at all.
You're like,
So
nah,
yeah.
I got to go to
So
work.
yeah, and this really changed my life, because I, you know, the way I feel about work ain't the same. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, so I was thinking, I was like, you know what? A thought came to me. I was like, you know what? I should go in the ambulance, just so, you know, my job, trying to protect the job now,
Yeah, protect the
will
job. Yep.
be like, I was like, yeah, he got into a serious accident. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go into an ambulance.
Yeah.
And the ambulance came, took me. Um, they assessed me. Um, so the emergency room worker noticed, I guess he noticed slight, you know, drooping of
Mm,
my right side. My blood pressure was off the chain. It wasn't, I don't want to say it was that bad, but it was
it wasn't
a
normal.
hundred. Yeah, it was like 170
Oh,
over 100.
wait, hold on. Wait, you said you don't want to say it's that bad. Remy, you know normal blood pressure. I know I said I didn't want to use the word normal, but you know the target is supposed to be between like I think 120.
125. Yeah,
Yeah. So not that bad. 170 is not it's bad.
it's high.
It's
Even the
high.
bottom number was high. It was over
Yes.
100.
The
So
bottom number is not supposed to hit three digits.
yeah, and so they should have. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to a lawyer for, to
Yeah.
see whether if I got something.
Right.
Because I, as a hard worker as I am, if I don't have to work no more,
I love the work, but if I could take an early retirement,
early retirement, I'll kick my feet up and live life. But so he said, "Oh, you probably got Bell's palsy.
mm,
You got Bell's palsy." That's what they, you know. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that I was like, what's Bell's palsy?" He was like, it's when your muscles, it's probably because of the shock, blah blah blah. And and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I know it'll just go away, you know, and I didn't think nothing of it. I just that's what I remember. Him
yeah,
saying Bell's palsy, you know, and they gave me a sandwich to get my the thing about it, my blood sugar was low.
hmm
They gave me a
some
drink
orange
and
juice. Yep.
yeah, to bring it up.
Yeah.
My blood pressure was high though, and you know, so once they, you know, semi-regulated me, the T um 61, which is the nighttime supervisor,
hmm
he came and got me, took me to the T office. Um, one fact, when they discharged me, I could hardly write my name.
And they
And
let
I'm
you
like,
leave.
yeah, and I'm like, this is weird. And
Yeah.
when I signed it, I was like, is this good? He was like, it's okay. I was like, well, whatever.
Oh.
So I went to the T doctor and they tested me for drugs and all that. And of course, I passed.
Hmm.
And I tried to sign my name again, and I could not sign right. And she thought, and I thought it was the computer messing up because I was trying to sign,
On
and
those pads.
but yeah, on those pads. But now hindsight 2020, it had to be I was stroking out,
Hmm.
and you know, I got through that, um, and I went to the T officer, the supervisor. He um he brought me to my garage. I went upstairs and I had to fill out a whole report. I was still writing, so I was
Yeah.
still writing, but you know, if I see that report, I know the handwriting was not
Was
was
illegible.
yeah. I signed it, whatever, and I just left. And they was like, come tomorrow morning, you'll be in the post. And the post is post accident. You're not
Mm.
driving. So I was like, okay. And then the big boss, he'll you know, see what, they'll review the accident and
Yeah.
you know, they'll they'll tell me what my punishment is or whatever.
Punishment.
So Tuesday I get up. That was all Monday. So
Yep.
now on Tuesday I get up and I'm like, I tell my wife, I'm like, can you drive me to work?
Mm.
And she looked at me and I was like, I don't feel good. Just drive me to work. I'm not doing nothing. So you could you have the car. I mean she had her own car, but I was like, you could have the car. You could have the car. She was like, okay. She's like, but if you don't feel good, I'm gonna take you to the doctor.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah. So I went upstairs. I talked to one of my boys, Omar. He's a inspector. He's like, yo, don't worry about it. People get into accidents all the time. He was like, but you know what? He was like, don't worry about it, Rem. You a good dude. This will pass. You know. He was like, and before he left, he asked me, he's like, but are you all right? For real. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, Omar. I'm fine. Oh, I call him Oh. I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, all right, just don't, him thinking there is so much on my mind because about
Yeah.
the accident, my job.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry about it, really. Just sit down, relax. You're in the post. Don't worry about it. And I was like, cool. I went downstairs and I grabbed my bag, and my wife was like, you not going to? I was like, nah. I'm a tough it out, you know, and sit and chill, chill here.
Hmm.
And she was like, and this is the second person that saved my life. She was like, you know, nah, yeah, I gotta take you don't look good. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. So when I was, up there,
Hmm.
a bus driver named Kat, she that's a nickname. I don't ask me for a real name. I just know it as Kat.
Her name's Cat.
And
That's all that matters.
that's it. That's it. And she was like, "Yo, dude, you don't look well." She was like, "Cause She was like, you usually upbeat,
Yeah.
spunky,
That's
you
you.
know, want to talk to everybody. You didn't even say hi. I was like, yo, I'm sorry, Kat. I'm tired. That's what I that's what it was. It was like I was really tired.
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't look well. So my wife came up and up the stairs and she talked to the supervisor. He you know, he was like, just call work partners. And we called she called we I called work partners and they put me out that day. But I was supposed to see the big boss before I left. So, you know, I forget what they not superintendent. Yeah, superintendent. The
Hmm.
superintendent. And he came out, he was looking for me, and God rest her soul, the deceased April.
Oh.
She was still alive at the time, and she said, I don't know where he went. He was right here, and Kat told him, oh, he went to the hospital because Kat actually helped me down the stairs.
Mm.
Now I'm losing more of my facets. My walking is starting to get, I
Harder.
walked up the stairs. Yeah, I
Yeah.
walked up the stairs, but when she was like, "You don't look good," I don't know. It started going down, so you know, I went down the stairs. I I was, I don't know. I just didn't feel good. So she helped me downstairs. She was like, yeah, go check that out. Hope to see you back soon. We went to urgent care. Urgent care was, he was like, oh, he has Bell's palsy. So he, he really said it. It's
Yeah.
documented. He said I had Bell's palsy. So I'm thinking, oh, then the first guy, Cambridge Hospital, said I had Bell's palsy.
Hmm.
Now Harvard said I had Bell's palsy. My blood pressure was still high. It was like 169 over 100. But he said take these um whatever he put. I'll say not Prozac, but something they give for Bell's palsy. And you know, my wife was like, "Will he be able to go back to work?" He was like, "He'll be fine in a few days," and I was like, "Cool. I got Bell's palsy. That's cool," because
Yeah.
he noticed my face was drooping. So
Mm.
he, he lifted my arm. Everything was working, and I wasn't limping, so there was nothing. But you know, I mean, you're a doctor. You should know
I'm
you
gonna
you
trust
should
you.
know the difference. Yeah, you should
Right.
know the difference between a stroke and a, you know, you
A
should,
reaction. Yeah.
yeah, Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, I went on that day, the next day, and at this time, I was still, still sort of young, so I had twists in my hair, Rachel. I was trying
I
to,
know. I know. You was
I was
keeping up
trying
with the
to,
times. You was keeping up with the times.
yeah, I was trying to get it locked, get my Simpson on, the strength in the hair. So I was like, you know, so my wife was doing it
Yeah.
um on the next day. That day went through Thursday, Tuesday went over after I seen the doctor. That was it with Tuesday. And
Hmm.
on one, you know, my third person to saved my life, my sisters, because after my wife heard Bell's palsy, she she's not a doctor, so she's thinking what the doctor said, it's Bell's
Right.
palsy.
Right. Right.
So
So
you
we
know
start looking for care to treat Bell's
Bell's
palsy.
palsy,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Bell's palsy.
So my sisters call, you know and it was like, he's not well, and my wife was like, well, they they said he had Bell's palsy, so we're just gonna give her the medicine and you know see what it does. So she was doing my hair at the time, and I don't know. I bent down. I was
Mm,
normal. I bent down. I got up, and Rachel, when I tell you the sweat was pouring from
mm.
my face, and my wife was like, "That's it. I'm gonna take you to the emergency room."
And this is a third visit to the hospital.
This is the third visit,
Mm,
and she took me to the people who saved my life. I big ups to Beth Israel,
mm,
um, West Wing,
mm.
West Side of
Yep.
Beth Israel. Um, I mean, all those hospitals down there are good.
Yeah.
But
But your experience is
yeah,
with Beth Israel, so we gonna
but
shout them
yeah,
out. Yep.
yeah. I shot them out all the time. Beth Israel and Dr. Kumar, he's treating me, and
Oh,
they
I think I
took
worked
me.
for him. Is he a
Oh
tall
wow,
Indian man?
yeah,
I
Dr.
used to
Kumar.
work for him. Yeah, he wrote a book. He
Oh,
wrote an amazing book, by the way.
oh, really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
Super
have
tall,
to,
wears glasses.
yeah, he's super
Yeah.
tall.
Okay.
Speaks real monotone, real
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really monotone. Yeah, I
yeah.
used to he has Ariadne Labs in
Oh okay.
Longwood. Yeah, he has his
Oh
own
okay.
practice. But go ahead, yes.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
oh, you was definitely in
Small
good
world.
hands. Oh, you was
It's-
definitely in good hands because he's a heart
yeah.
doctor. Yeah. Look at me knowing people. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I know. Check you out. Let me get a prize. Let me see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll bring you a prize next time.
Listen, your prize is I know, right? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
And
So he got you.
he
Dr.
was
Kumar.
Dr. Kumar, and well, he didn't see me at first, but I he's my doctor right now, so
Hmm.
he but I went in, the nurses seen me, and I couldn't, like, everything was frustrating me
Hmm.
when people kept asking me, and I, because you're West Indian, and you hear your parents say, I'm not no dumb West Indian, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want these white people thinking I'm a, a
Yes.
dumb black person that can't,
Figure.
articulate
Yep.
themselves and, you know, formulate sentences. And I didn't, because, hey, so I was getting a little frustrated. So I had to breathe. I was like, I'm trying to say, and the nurse was like, I'll take him. I'll take him in. I'll take him in.
Yeah.
And she took my blood. She took everything. And she was like, so what happened? And I was trying to explain to her, and she was like, let me call your wife. And my wife explained it to him, and she was like, okay, all right, you have a seat in the waiting room.
Mm.
And next thing I know, she was like, um, we got a bed for you. You're gonna lay down here. And I was just laying there. They they strapped me up with all kinds of test things,
Hmm.
over the heart, over the, you know, and I'm like, I hope this ain't a stroke. That's the first time that came to my. I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, nah, it can't be because my mother had a stroke,
Mm.
and they said it was because her sugar was high, and I was like,
Mm.
my sugar was low,
Yeah.
so this can't be a stroke. So everything, once I they doctor told me that, you got diabetes, I was like, dang, my mother got diabetes. The stroke, you can get a stroke. And I was so now I've been watching
Yeah.
everything, and so trying not to. And plus I was dieting and I wasn't eating sugar. So I was like, I know this can't be a stroke.
Yeah, I've been doing all this
And
work. I've been doing
yeah,
all the work. Yeah.
I'm at the barbershop, Bernard coming in. He's like, yo, you looking all right. I was like, yo, it's I'm trying to get like you, skinny man. You
Yeah,
know,
I know. I know. I live with them. I know.
and and so I was like, I know this can't be a stroke,
Yeah.
and so that I crossed that out of my mind.
Hmm.
And side note, I talked to my sister. She told me this late after, and I was talking to her, and she was like, "What? What are you saying?" She was like, let me speak to
Mm,
your wife." That the same day, so she called when I was getting my hair done. She called. I was like, "Yeah," and I guess she couldn't understand what I was saying.
mm. All these people.
Oh, oh man! Back to the story. So I'm laying in the bed, and the nurse comes and says, I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Adams, but you had a stroke."
Mm,
And as soon as she told me that, what whatever I don't know, whatever little facets of my right side was available, like I
mm,
mean, I could still walk, but I now was gone because I immediately, you know, they took me in, um, and I could not walk real. I could. I was like, it is amazing how fast your body forgets how to do anything.
mm.
And I was like, this is wild,
Right.
wild, wild, wild. And so, you know, they said I had a stroke. Um, and this is Wednesday. This is the third day. Third day he rose from the dead.
You
So
took the words right out my mouth, Remy. Right out my mouth. On the third day. Something about that number
and
three.
something about it, right?
Hmm.
And this is this was the third day, and you know, it was it was it was really it was hard for me
Right.
because I didn't understand, you know, once they said I had it, I was like, well, we we gonna I guess we gotta beat this too. So,
Yep.
you know, it was but it was surreal
Right.
because I because I'm thinking something like my mother had a stroke and
Hmm.
I seen the symptoms, and you know, she was like, I was there one night when she was like, I'm cutting chicken and I'm trying to put my hand under the sink and it's going over. And I'm like, Ma, you
Mm.
must be tired. I was there. I was like, Ma, you must be tired. You know, you know, go get some sleep. Don't don't cut no chicken. Save it for tomorrow. You can do things tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know, you know. And I seen, my mother go through it, and I did not realize, for myself that
Yep.
I was going through it because it looked different.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a stroke. I had a blood clot in my
Yeah.
brain,
Mm.
and and I'm thinking I'm gonna feel.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
I'm
no,
gonna
this
feel
I
some.
see. You
I'm gonna
already know.
feel.
You have the expectation. So you know what it's
Yeah,
supposed to be like. So if you're not feeling what your expectation is, it's not possible that this is what you're going through.
right. So I'm like, I'm gonna feel something. Something's gonna hurt, which
Hmm.
I don't want to feel, but
Right.
it is what it is. And I didn't feel none of that. And I was
Right.
like, well, I can't be having this problem.
Yeah.
And you know, it was surreal. The it's for me it's not over.
Right.
I'm still recovering,
Right.
but you know, the doctor said, you're lucky to be, alive.
Right.
A lot of people say, a lot of people, the doctor said I could have went to sleep
And
on Monday
I
and
never
never
woke up.
woke up.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So, and then I was like, dang, if I could have went to sleep on Monday, I could have went to sleep on Tuesday and
Tuesday.
never woke up.
Yeah. Sunday.
I could have on Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, and I could have never woke up Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it it it's a process, but you know, I never one thing, Rachel, I never felt sorry for myself.
Mm.
You know, you know, they wanted to give me depression medication. I was like,
Yeah.
for what? It was like, well, some people are depressed. They get the. I was like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
You put me on depression medicines and mess me all up. I'm already,
You're already trying to
you know,
rebuild.
yeah. And I don't trust every medicine, the doctor, all that stuff is,
Because
you
one
know,
thing will give you something else that will give you something else that will give you something
yep,
else, and it's just never ending.
you know, I'm already taking this I won't say whack medicine, but this medicine that's gonna, supposedly, you know, help me, but
Yeah.
it doesn't cure me.
Yep. Yep.
So so they rely on the treatment,
Right.
and you could be treating somebody for 25, 40 years.
Right.
Like, I want to be healed,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, the only person that could fix me is the Lord.
Mm.
And
Mm.
you know it's my faith, it really helps me, because
Right.
when people who find out, they come to me, they're like, oh man, is is there, are you okay,
Right.
are you all right, are you you need anything. I really, and I want to thank all those people who reached out,
Mm-hmm.
um and asked me, if there anything they could do. And I don't want to be, you know
A
a
burden.
person that, yeah. So of course it was nothing, but you know, just their prayers was enough.
That's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm still West Indian at the end of the day, so I gotta.
Well,
Like, I can't.
you're not gonna accept the help, and it's a pro and a con that we have
Yeah,
because
yeah,
our pride is just like, nah, man, I could do this by myself, and
yeah,
I want to go back to and at the beginning when everybody was asking you if you're okay, and not necessarily West Indian. I just feel like minorities in general, and it
yeah,
makes me think of because I work in pharmaceuticals, so they did a training one time about minorities in the healthcare that they receive, and I remember watching. I don't even remember the name of the documentary, but the doctor on it was speaking on these experiments that they used to do on people of color because they just assumed that we had thicker skin and our pain tolerance is just higher. And
mm,
of course, all of the non-colored people at my job, well, not all of them, a lot of them came to me to ask me what I thought about the documentary because you're always the target. Like, what
yeah,
did you think about it? Um, and I said, well, in all seriousness, it's not the fact that we have a high pain tolerance. We are hesitant to admit when we are in pain. We're
yep,
taught not to complain. We're taught not to disturb the flow. So if we
yep,
are in pain or if we do feel like something's wrong, it's kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna just work through it.
Yep.
Whatever is going on, it's gonna find its way out. I don't need to stop what I'm doing. I don't want to go to the doctor's office because I need to be at work. Like, come on now, being a child, talking about you got a fever, your parents like, you fine. If you were able to tell me you had a fever, that means you're able to go to school and do what you got to
Yep.
do, and we'll take care of your fever later on. And to hear that, it took three visits to finally, for someone to notice that it was a stroke and not, what was it, what is it?
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. Um, can you imagine if they just started treating you for Bell's palsy? Like that could have went completely to the left.
I Yeah, I took the medicine. I don't know if I have it. If I have it, I should keep it as a trophy.
You should. Well, not even as a
Um,
trophy.
um, do they probably threw it away. But
That's okay. It's in your records.
oh yeah, yeah, it's in my. Thank you. See,
I know. I know these
that's
things.
why you gotta have smarter people, smarter people around you.
But I do
'Cause,
want to touch on at one point, like, so when we first heard the story, you said
yep.
something very interesting to me, and then that's when I told you, you got to be graceful with yourself, because I also have my best friend that went through a traumatic moment, and she was actually in a coma for 2 weeks, and after
Oh,
being in a coma after a week, they tell you your chances of waking up are less than half, um,
oh,
and she is, it's been a little over a year and she's still recovering. The recovery is not fast. Like you said, you're still recovering. The you mentioned when you see a baby flailing their arms,
oh,
you mentioned how that was it's a learned behavior. How has
yep.
it been, you know with relearning everything,
Well,
like things that were normal
uh,
and just came second nature to you are not anymore.
well, you see, like, again, the babies. I, when you have a stroke, when you have a stroke, it's like you become a baby again.
Mm-hmm.
But where a baby has, they're born, they're stretching out their self, they're yawning, they're doing all that, they're sleeping a lot, and that's what I did. I got a lot of sleep with the stroke, but you know, they're they stretch. It's their muscles are getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
They hold on. You're trying to get them to grab and hold your finger, and that's all. You know, that's all for. We don't even think about it. When I had my kids, I didn't even think about it. But
Right.
that's all strengthening them. That's all getting their muscles to remember.
Yeah.
So they don't have to, you know, do anything special. They just got to live life, and they'll be um they'll learn the motions and
Right.
the 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 attributes of their body.
Right.
But as an adult, to relearn that is, it's the same process,
Right.
but mentally it can mess with you because you've already gone through that
Right.
stage of your life.
Right. Right.
So you're reverting back to a baby, and I have to stretch my arm, and
Mm-hmm.
you know it. I don't even you know you know it's getting better. So I can, my range of motion is much much wider,
Right.
but you know I have to do things with weights,
Mm-hmm.
with with machines, as a, to simulate that tightness, or that you know where a baby, they if they they sit up on their hands and they're looking around. That's, I can't do that because
Yeah.
that's not in me anymore. I'm not a baby. It's not, you know,
Yeah.
and it happens, you know, I could see why they wanted to give me depression medicine
Hmm.
because if 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 I didn't, you know, didn't believe in the the God I serve
Mm.
that much, if I didn't have any faith, I would have, been depressed because this is a
Yeah. You would have
depressing
given up.
state. Yeah,
Yeah.
but but there is no, you know, people say, I'm so mad that I'm so, sad that you went through it. And I was
Hmm.
like, well, it it had to be me because God seen I was strong enough to go through it.
Mm.
He's
That
not gonna
part.
put more on me that I can bear. So
Mm.
I'm strong enough to go through this
Yeah.
without being depressed, without, even, people even some of the doctors were like, wow, you're so upbeat. I'm like, when I was in therapy, and I'm like, yeah, because because I'm I'm alive, first of all,
Yeah.
and God, this is meant to be.
Right.
Like, some people be like, I don't, why me? Nah, why not me? Why
Right.
I had to go through this so I could encourage somebody else that
Hmm.
that might be going through something, not even that severe, but just going through something
Ready to give up.
that, yeah, ready to give up. And I could be a voice of reason and
Yeah.
tell them, no, don't give up. Don't you lose, what your faith, whatever you got going on, don't you lose it
Yeah.
because this too shall pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny you say you talk about faith. So I had an episode well, it's actually gonna post soon, but I recorded it last week.
Mm,
And it was and I should have had you on it too. We are talking about the power of faith. There'll definitely be a part two on it.
okay.
When I was speaking with my friend Kenny, and, one of the questions I asked him was in regards to, I was like, our peers, a lot of people have their moments, because I had it too, where they fall from faith. They
Mm,
forget that no, they lose. I said they lose faith. And he said something very interesting where he said he doesn't believe that people ever lose faith. We're not built to lose faith. We just forget we have it at times.
mm,
So
mm,
to hear, I know that was the sound I made when he said it. I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. We forget that we have faith, and to hear, you know, with the because what you went through was a traumatic experience, and you're smiling, and through all of this, the recovery hasn't been easy. But you've held on to your faith. You've held on
mm.
to your family. You have your
Yep.
support. And like I said to you before, I'm gonna keep saying it to you. You're being graceful and patient with yourself, because I know in your mind
Yep.
you're just like, no, 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 I know how to do it. And I think, you mentioned it, it's the mental part. Your brain is saying, come on, man, we've done this before. Like, just do it, just do it. Whereas your body's like, I don't remember. We gotta practice. And I think that's something hard. I mean, I've never experienced it, so this is why I say I think, and you can correct me. I think especially coming from a prideful culture, we pride ourselves on everything we do. To not be able to do something you were doing before, it does take a toll on you. So I think it's amazing that you hold on to faith, and you hold on to your family, and you have a community that keeps cheerleading you, well, cheerleading for
Mm,
you to keep you going, because like you said, if you didn't have any of those things, you could have fought. And there are people who do, something happens to them and they just lose everything. They lose their faith, they lose their confidence, they lose everything, and they don't see the worth in trying. Am I making sense? Does
Yeah.
that sound about right? Okay.
Yeah, that's Rachel. You dead on, Rachel.
I'm dead
Rachel,
on. I'm dead on. I try. I try. So before I close out, I just, any advice that you would get? I mean, I don't know how big my audience is. I'm hoping one day that we go nationwide.
yeah,
I
yeah,
put it at
yeah.
God's feet. We'll
Hey,
go
yo,
nationwide. It's
yeah.
at God's feet.
Hey, you go nationwide, and that's what that'll be our prayer.
That'll
That
be
that
our
that, that
prayer.
shoot.
That'll
You
be our
why not you, Rachel? I mean,
why not? Why
Wendy
not?
Williams and all them other
Well, hold on. Willie
authors.
Williams is going through some things right now.
She is going through some
Let's do
things.
the Oprah. I can do Oprah.
Oprah, you know, going through, why not you?
Why not me?
Um,
Any advice that you'd give to people who are going through, who have gone through something, and they don't necessarily have the strength of faith or the community, or just, they're just not there yet.
mhm. Well, first advice I can give them is get some faith.
Mm, mm,
Me. I'm
I
all
know.
about the kingdom. So first you should get saved, or if you don't, go to your local church, get something that will encourage you.
Mhm,
But you know, black people, my people, you know, get checked regularly. Um, you know, and really, this has taught me, and I hope, you know, some black people, we focus on the job and
mm,
and what I learned about the job is that you're just a number.
mm,
So they will have you and it'll be all good. But once you are down,
mhm.
they they will replace you.
Yeah. I saw something that
Or
said they'll have your job position will be posted before your obituary.
yeah, and it's true
Yeah.
because a friend of mine's um she worked at DCF. She just passed recently.
Sorry, my
Um
condolences.
yeah, and you know she worked with DCF and you know my it was so a coincidence that my sister had the case that she worked on, and they would share emails between. And the last email my sister got, she wasn't even CC'd on it.
Oh
So,
wow.
and that was the day after she died. She was CC'd on it before, and then she died. They didn't
They
CC
just
her.
yeah. Oh,
they,
they waste no time. The
they
beat
were
keeps going.
going,
Yeah.
and you know, you know, family is more. I'm going to say this,
Hmm.
and people may not believe me. They may not want to agree with me, but family is more important than a job
Yes, it is. Yes,
is.
it is.
And you could work all the hours in the world and never spend time with your family, and they'll have whatever they want materially, but you missed out. You'll look around and your kids will be 20 years old and you'll be like, Dad,
When did this happen?
when did this happen? I mean,
Yeah.
you're putting them through college, it's all good, and you're putting them through school and that, man, but it it won't be fun.
Mm-mm.
It's sure not fun for me realizing that, my kids are grown up and this is what it took
Mm.
to 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 slow me down, and I'm thankful for it. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't look at work the same. I sure I sure don't. I I want to be rich and you know, but I I'll trade all the riches
Mm,
for the time.
the
And you
time with your
can't,
family.
yep, and you can't get time back.
Nope. No, you cannot. No,
That's
you
the one
cannot.
thing you cannot get back is the
Mm-hmm.
time you with your loved ones. And
Yeah.
you know, that's that's yeah, that's what I got to say,
That's. I
you
appreciate you
know,
chatting with me. Wait,
oh
did I hit my goal? Did it feel like just a regular conversation? It didn't feel like an interview. You just two friends
no,
talking.
I two friends, you know, we this was nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous about the interview, but you know, just the tell my story, you
Yeah.
know, I just hope that I wouldn't just be full of
Well, and I
of
mean,
just
it is a
talking.
testimony now, but you gotta, like I said, I learned about your stroke last year, and we never like I would always ask when I like, so what happened? He goes, I don't know, and with situations like that, especially when it's a friend, you don't
Yeah,
want to push because it's something you don't know where that person's headspace is. So you
uh,
don't want to keep asking. You don't want to push. You want to let that person be ready to talk about it. So,
mm,
you know, when you spoke about it at
yeah,
church, I was like, yeah, okay, we can talk.
and you know what? That's what I didn't want. I didn't want people to be nervous around asking me anything.
Yeah,
I I wasn't scared. I was never scared. I was never, I never could understand the people that, you know, they
don't want to talk about
it's just
nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't want to talk about it. Like, come on. I mean, that's me.
right,
I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not going to talk about other people. That's me. You know, and that's how I am.
right.
Life gives you lemons, you make lemonades.
Amen.
It gives you cherries, you make whatever you can make with cherries. I don't know.
You make cherry pie. You
Yeah,
make
there you
cherry
go. There
pie.
you
There you go. All right. Oh,
go.
well, thank you so much, Remy. I'm gonna let you
Oh,
have the
you
rest of your
what?
day because I can have you
Oh,
on here for hours on end.
yeah.
But I will definitely have you come back because I do want to do a part two of my power of faith. Because I think you'd be great for
Okay.
that. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but like I said, and I said to you before, I'm gonna keep saying it again. I want you to be patient with your recovery.
Yes.
It's a
Yes,
it's
Mama
a
Ray
it's
Child.
a marathon, not a race. And
Yes, Mama
that
Ray
goes for
Child.
everybody going through something, even if it's not a physical trauma that you went through, just emotional. You gotta. I don't think we, and not necessarily just West Indians. I think just the Black community, we're not graceful or patient with ourselves. I
Mm.
think because of everything we've gone through throughout history, we're just always trying to be two steps ahead just to
Yep.
keep up with what's going on in the world. So I think we need to evaluate that and understand that we are where we're supposed to be.
Yep. And
Period.
for real.
Period. Matter of fact, I don't even have nothing else to add after that. That was an amazing ending. We are where we are supposed to be. And then that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Remy, I appreciate you chatting with me. I
Oh
think we
man,
gotta go ahead.
I I appreciate you just thinking enough to want to talk with me
Oh,
because
of
you know
course. Oh, of course. Next time I
it's
have you on,
all
we gotta have some barbershop tea. I know you be getting all the
oh
tea. You gotta
ah
let me know if Renard talking about me in the barbershop.
ah they, the one thing I can say about the barbershop, they want me back, boy.
I
They
know. I know.
they
I
said the
know.
streets is missing you.
Hello. The streets is calling. The
Ah,
streets are calling. All right, Remy. Well, I appreciate you again, and I'm gonna let you go. So have
okay,
a great day. Thank you all
you
for
too.
listening. Remy, you want to let them know how they can find you?
Well,
Like,
hey, you can find me at um Word of Life Tabernacle, 120 Amory Street, um, Dorchester, Roxbury. I think it's Roxbury, Mass.
yeah.
I'm there Sundays, from 11 to whenever they decide to call it quits.